Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi wa ba'd. We've studied a number of lessons in the Muqaddimah of Ibn Ajrumiyyah. Ibn Ajrumiyyah, what's his name by the way? Muhammad ibn Dawood al-Sinhaji. And he died in what year? 723, 5 years before? Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahumullah. May Allah have mercy on both of them. The last class, we had, what was it, lesson 9, right? 4 indicators of the Marfoo' case. قال ابن آجروم رحمه الله باب معرفة علامات الإعراب. The topics about the signs of إعراب. And what's إعراب? It's the changing of the last parts of the letters. تغيير أواخر الكلمة لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها. طيب, then it's the changing of the last parts of the words. When the زيدٌ changes to زيدًا or زيدٍ or zayd with a sukoon on the del, majzoom, right? No, why not? مستحيل لا يوجد. There's no ismun majzoom, doesn't exist. All right. So then we introduced the signs of rafa. The marfoo' case has 4 basic signs. What are they, Ibrahim? First one, Dhammah. Give me an example. Kitabun. Al-kitabu or kitabun. Okay. And then the second sign of something being marfoo', Sayyid Ikram. Second sign of a word being marfoo'. So Muslimun and not Muslimin. But Muslimun is marfoo'. Muslimin is something else. Nice. Another sign of something being marfoo', Aba Asiya. Al-alif. So it has an alif. And give me an example. Give me an example of a word with an alif, and the alif is the sign of it being marfoo'. That's what we want. Give me a verb. A verb that has an alif as a sign of it being marfoo'. Can a verb be marfoo'? Can a verb be marfoo'? Yeah, okay. Can a verb be marfoo' and have an alif in it? No. It can't. Yajlisani. There's a verb, it's marfoo' and it has an alif in it. What are you talking about?
But it's not the sign.
Oh, okay.
It's not the alama.
It's not the alama of rafa. Okay. A verb can be marfoo' and it can have an alif in it. But the alif is not the sign of rafa, because, as we'll learn, that the alif is only found in asma. A little bit ahead of ourselves. Give me the example now, Aba Asiya. Hanif. Ar-rajulani. Tafniya. Tafniyatul asma'i khassa. That it's in dual nouns. Ar-rajulani, muslimani. We have a mubtada and a khabar. Both are marfu'. Both have an alif as the sign of them being marfu'. طيب. Then last one, Sultan. Last sign of marfu', a noon. So give me an example of a noon as a sign of something being marfu'. Al-Muslimun. So we can say al-Muslimu, take off the noon, and it's not marfu'. Yajlisuna. Sheikh Abdul Samad gives us yajlisuna. Yeah, and you say Muslimuna. Which one? Yajlisuna is correct, naam. Because if we were going to change it out of the marfu' case, barakallahu feek, then we would say lam yajlisu, and we take the noon off. The sign of the noon being there means this must be marfu' ahsant. And as for muslimun, it is marfu'. What's the sign of it being marfu'? It's the wow, not the noon. Don't get those two issues confused. Barakallahu feekum. That's our quick review. Now, lesson number 10. When a Dhammah indicates the marfu' case. When a Dhammah indicates the marfu' case. Now, the last lesson we introduced the 4 different signs of something being marfu'. Really important, Abdul Alim. The 4 signs of something being marfu', we introduced them. Now, let's talk about one of them. Just the Dhammah today. And the next 3 lessons will be zooming in on each one of the 4 signs. All of the different times that one sign will be the sign of rafa. So we're zooming in even closer and closer. So today we're going to read the text. There it is. فَأَمَّا الضَّمَّةُ. As for the Dhammah, you can skip ahead. Look at lesson 11. وَأَمَّا الْوَاوُ. Look at lesson 12. وَأَمَّا الْأَلِفِ. Lesson 13. وَأَمَّا النُّونِ. You see the next 3 lessons after today, they're laid out to talk about each of the signs of the word being marfu'. 1 lesson per sign. Today we're just talking about the Dhammah. Just the Dhammah. And there's a lot to talk about here with the Dhammah. Look at that paragraph. فَتَكُونُ عَلَامَةً لِلرَّفْعِ فِي أَرْبَعَةِ مَوَاضِعَ. It is a sign of the word being marfu' in 4 times, 4 occasions, 4 kinds of words, in 4 places. The meaning is in 4 different types of words. Now let's categorize them. Let's look at those types of words. Fil ism al-mufrad. The first type of word that's marfu' with a Dhammah is al-ism al-mufrad. Single nouns. Singular nouns. وجمع التكسير. في الاسم المفرد وجمع التكسير. And in the broken plurals, plural nouns that have a broken plural. We have to learn about جمع التكسير. What is that? In English, we have 2 different kinds of plurals. Regular and irregular. Regular plural, just put an S on it, or something like an S. Shoe, shoes. Right? But then you have your irregular plural. Like man, men. You manipulate the word itself. That's sort of like the Jam'u Taksir and the Jam'u Salim. The Jam'u Salim, Muslim becomes Muslimun. In feminine, Muslimah becomes Muslimat. You follow the pattern of putting un or at. And sometimes in, depending on the case. That's Salim. That's your regular, normal way of making a plural. Then you have your Jam'u Taksir. Your broken up plural, that's going to be your irregular plural. That's like changing man to men. It doesn't follow a rule. You can't say, make a word plural by taking the A in the middle of it and turning it to an E. So a car is now made a plural, kir, C-E-R. That doesn't work. It's not a rule. It only works in the word man. طيب, so Jam'u Taksir has lots of different varieties. You can add a letter, take a letter out, keep the letters as they are, but change the letters. You can review the book At-Tuhfa As-Siniyya for all the details about Jam'u Taksir. I don't want to talk about all the details. It's sufficient for us to know that Jam'u Taksir can be that you manipulate the mufrad, you manipulate the singular noun by adding letters, other than the waw and the noon of the salim plural, or the alif and the ta of the feminine salim plural, but you add different letters, or that you take away letters, or that you manipulate the harakat, and other than the way of salim, other than adding una or ina or at for feminine. Like kutub. Kitab, 4 letters. Kaf, ta, alif, ba. Kitab, 4 letters. Kutub, 3 letters. Took the alif out and changed the harakat. Aqlam. So we have qalam, 3 letters. You guys are giving me great examples, different categories. Nice. And the plural now has more words, more letters. First example, kitab goes from 4 letters in the singular noun to 3 letters in the plural. So it gets smaller, and it's Jam'u Taksir. Then our example here, qalam, 3 letters. It goes to aqlam, it goes to 5 letters. Yeah, it gets bigger. Hamzat, qaf, lam, alif, mim, 5 letters. So sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's smaller, and sometimes it's the same as the mufrad, but with a different haraka. Who can give me an example of that?
Asad.
Asad. Nice. Nice example. Asad is a lion. And then the plural is usd, with a sukoon on the sin. Usd. That's the plural of Asad. When you look at the writing, it's 3 letters. Hamza, sin, dal. Asad. The plural is ust. Same 3 letters. Hamza, sin, dal, but different harakat. So it's sufficient for us to know as beginners. Jam'u Taksir is any plural that's not salim. Quite simple. Now what is salim then? Salim is any plural that comes with an additional suffix of un. Muslim, muslimun. Kafir, kafirun. Talib, talibun. Jam'u salim. The regular plural. Then these words like talib and the one before it, Rajul, yeah? They have jam'u taksir that they're more known by. Tullab, jam'u taksir. Rijal, jam'u taksir. The salim is adding the un in the marfu' case. But if it's not marfu', it's going to be ina, muslimina, kafirina, and so on. That's plural. That's your regular standard plural. If it's feminine, muslimatun, then move the ta over and put an alif before it and open the ta up. Muslimat. Muslimat. That's called jam'u mu'annath salim. Those are the two salim plurals for feminine and for masculine. It's a standard suffix added to the end of the word. You keep the mufrad as it is without changing it, and you add the suffix to the end. Jam'u taksir, you manipulate the letters of the single noun. That's all. If you know that, then you know the difference between jam'u taksir and jam'u salim. So a Dhammah is a sign of the jam'u taksir being marfu'. Thirdly, وَجَمْعِ الْمُؤَنَّثِ السَّالِمِ, and the feminine regular plural. That's the alif ta that we just talked about. Adding alif ta as a suffix at the end of the mufrad mu'annatha. وَالْفِعْلِ الْمُضَارِعِ, and present tense verbs. الَّذِي لَمْ يَتَّصِلْ بِآخِرِهِ شَيْءٌ, those that have nothing, no suffixes at the end of them. طيب. Now each one of those needs some explanation. That's our lesson for today. Let's go back and look at the 4 types of words that have a Dhammah as their sign of being marfu'. The first one, al-ism al-mufrad, a singular noun. So nouns, whether they're masculine or feminine, they're either mufrad or jamma. They're either singular or plural. And singular nouns can be masculine or feminine. Plural nouns can be masculine or feminine. Let's look at the mufrad. Let's look at single nouns here. Single nouns that are masculine and single nouns that are feminine. In Surah Al-Ikhlas, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. We have Allah's name. It's ism mufrad. We have ahadun, ism mufrad, a single noun. Allahu samadu. Allahu, single noun. It's a proper noun, but it's a single noun. As-samadu, single noun. So there we have 4 in 2 ayat. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ Allahu samadu. Those are mufrad. We have in Surah Al-Fath, إِذَا جَاءَ Nasrullahi, not Nasrallahi or Nasrillahi, but إِذَا جَاءَ Nasrullahi. So Nasr is mufrad. Give me the i'rab on it. Marfoo'. And what do you say after that? Alamatu raf'ihi ad-dhammatu al-zahira ala akhiri. طيب. There you have your junior i'rab starting to sprout. You'll get this. That right there, we're introducing the serious i'rab at this stage. We're not really expected to have it down just yet. We're starting to practice what's called i'rab, diagramming or analyzing a word in its sentence and being able to talk about that word, what place it has, what effect it has on the other words, and so on. So we're saying here, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ. We're not saying that we have to identify Nasr as a fa'il. We didn't introduce a fa'il yet. We're just saying Nasr is marfu'a. Alamatu raf'ihi, the sign of it being marfu'a is al-Dhammah. That's our point right now. The sign of it being marfu'a is the Dhammah. What about فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ? What surah is that? Al-Qari'ah. Yeah? فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ. Ummuhu, not ummahu or ummihi. Ummuhu, ummu. Hawiyatun, not hawiyatan, not hawiyatin, but hawiyatun. We have a single noun, Yeah? Happens to be feminine. Doesn't matter. Single nouns, feminine or masculine. The sign of them being marfu' is the Dhammah. So here is marfu'. Alamatu raf'ihi al-Dhammah al-Zahira. Then hawiyatun. Hawiyatun. Ya Abdul Alim. It's hawiyatun. Marfu', mansub, majroor, or majzoom. Ya Abdul Samad, can you help him out? It's marfu'a. Okay, first of all, we're talking about marfu'a stuff here. So this noun here, hawiyatun, is marfu'a. Hawiyatun. The fact that it has tun at the end and not tan or tin, that means it's marfu'a. That's our sign of it being marfu'a. So we say marfu'a. Alamatu raf'ihi, the sign of it being in the raf' form, marfu'a, is al-dhamma. One more example. Narun hamiyatun. Narun hamiyatun. Sayyid Ikram, what's narun? It's marfu'a, isn't it? It's an ism mufrad, it's a single noun. It's marfu'a. Alamatu raf'ihi al-dhamma. It is al-dhamma. Thank you. What about hamiyatun, Ibrahim? Hamiyatun. Narun hamiyatun. Marfu'a. No. And alamatu raf'ihi al-dhammatu. Nice. Okay, there's your ism mufrad and a bunch of examples. Second one then. Jam'u at-taksir. Jam'u at-taksir. Now, we said all words, male or female, are either mufrad or jamma. They're either singular or plural. We say now we want to look at plurals. Plurals are either one of two cases. They're either taksir or salim. They're either broken plurals, irregular ones, or they're regular, normal plurals with the regular standard suffix. And we've already explained the details there. Let's look at the taksir. Jam'u taksir. That's our second time in this list here that a dhamma is a sign of it being marfu'a. Statement of Allah Ta'ala, وَتَكُونُ الْجِبَالُ كَالْعِهْنِ الْمَنْفُوشِ. وَتَكُونُ الْجِبَالُ كَالْعِهْنِ الْمَنْفُوشِ. Where's the jam'u taksir here? Jibal is the plural of jabal. What's a jabal? A mountain. Jibal is a plural. Is it jabalun or jabalat? No, it's not jam'u salim. It's not jabalun or jabalat. So that means it must be jam'u taksir. Jibal. Listen to the word again. وَتَكُونُ الْجِبَالُ with a dhamma on the end of it. So how would we make i'rab? What would we say about the word al-jibal here? Abdul Hafiz. Jibal is mansub or majzoom or marfu' or majroor or what? Marfu'. The word jibal here is marfu'. And the sign of it being marfu' is the dhamma. Everything today is about the dhamma being the sign of it being marfu'. So we're going to hear that a lot today. Marfu' alamatu raf'ihi al-dhamma. Al-zahira. The clear, obvious dhamma that's there. Nice. Same surah. فَأَمَّا مَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ. فَأَمَّا مَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ. Where's the jam'u taksir? Where's the plural here? Mawazin. Mawazin. It's the plural of? Mizan. Mizan is a scale. Mawazin, scales. One of the jam'u taksir that has more letters. All right? Like jibal is also more letters. Jabal, 3 letters. Jibal, 4 letters. Adding an alif into it. Mawazin, being bigger than mizan. فَأَمَّا مَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ. موازينه. يا عبيد اعرب موازينه. اسم مرفوع. Nice. جمع تكسير. Throwing that in. Okay. Nice. وعلامة رفعه الضمة الظاهرة. And the way we know it's marfu'a is the dhamma. You said mawazinuhu, not mawazinahu or mawazinihi, but rather mawazinuhu. The dhamma there. The dhamma is a sign of it being marfu'. That's the second kind of word that's marfu' with a dhamma. The dhamma shows you it's marfu'. Third type of word. He says وَجَمْعِ الْمُؤَنَّثِ السَّالِمِ. And the feminine standard plural. Feminine plural that's standard, not jam'u taksir, the one that has a rule. What's the rule for jam'u muannath salim? Add what? The alif before the ta and then stretch the ta out. Mu'minatun, ta marbuta, a wrapped up ta. Stretch the ta out to make it a long ta maftuha. Put an alif before it. Muslimatun, muslimatun. All right, so then the word muslimat is known to be marfu if it has two dhammas on it. Muslimatun. Let's get an example from the book of Allah. إِذَا جَاءَكُمُ الْمُؤْمِنَاتُ مُهَاجِرَاتِ. O you who believe, if the mu'minat come to you. إِذَا جَاءَكُمُ الْمُؤْمِنَاتُ. Who knows the i'rab of the word al-mu'minat? Abu Abdul Fattah, you know it? Ismun. Naam. You could say it's a jam' muannath salim if you want to, but you could just say it's marfu'a. And then? Dhammah, barakallahu feekum. Now, the sign of it being marfu'a is the Dhammah. Naam. Exactly. So then, the sign of it being plural is the alif and ta. The sign of it being jamma mu'annath salim is the alif ta. The sign of it being marfu' is that little dhamma on the ta. Al-muslimatu ahsant barakallahu feekum. As for jamma mudhakkar salim, that's not part of our discussion today. Why not? Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun. Yeah, there's no dhamma there to even talk about. Kafirun, there is no dhamma there. We don't say Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun. There's no dhamma to even talk about. That's a wow, because it's an ism, jam'u salim, jam'u mudhakkar salim. Remember, jam'u mudhakkar salim is not part of today's discussion. The other two plurals are jam'u taksir and jam'u mu'annath salim. The only plural that's not part of today's discussion, it doesn't have a dhamma as a sign of it being marfu', is jam'u mudhakkar salim, the one where you add un, like muslimun, musafirun, and so on. That is not marfu' with a dhamma. That's marfu' with a wow, as we'll see later. The last thing then is al-fi'l al-mudari' alladhi lam yattasil bi akhirihi shay'. The present tense verb that has nothing on the end. Right? Nothing on the end here means no wawul jama'ah, like in yajlisuna. So we take off the una for the group, and we have yajlisu. And no noon al-tawqid, thaqila or khafifa. No noon for emphasis. La af'alanna. No, not that. But rather, the present tense verb that doesn't have any suffixes at the end of it. So it's just yajlisu, not yajlisa, or yajlis with a sukoon on it, or yajlisi, which la yujad, doesn't even exist, right? Yajlisu, it has a dhamma on it. As I stress it and I say yajlisu, don't get confused, I'm not saying a wow. I'm just saying a dhamma, very emphasized for you. Yajlisu, yajlisu. Yeah? That dhamma is a sign of it being marfu'. So what about this? Here's a verb, right? Because this is fi'l mudari'. I'll give you a fi'l, and you tell me if it's marfu', you tell me if it's mansoob, majroor, based on its sign. Ready? قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Here's قُل. قُل is a verb.
مستحيل.
It's a verb. It's not mustahil.
فعل أمر.
It's a fi'l amr. So is it marfu'?
مبني.
It's mebni. It's not part of our discussion. Remember, fi'l amr is outside of our discussion. We're only talking about fi'l mudari', right? Okay. What about إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ? Where's the verb? جَاءَ. Is that marfu'? That's mebni as well. That's fi'l madi. That's outside of our discussion. So now we've eliminated fi'l amr, command verbs. We eliminate fi'l madi, past tense verb. Let's focus on fi'l mudari', on present tense verb. Present tense verbs start with one of four letters. There are only four letters that the present tense verb can start with. What are they? Alif for ana. Ana ajlisu. Ana ajlisu. And the ya, huwa yajlisu. Wa hum yajlisuna. Like that. Ta, anta, tajlis. Tajlisu anta. Tajlisu. Yeah, and tajlisuna antum. Like that. Ta. And the other one is? A noon for nahnu. Najlis. We are sitting. Nahnu. These are called huruf al-mudari'. Al-arba'. The four letters of mudari'. They come in the beginning. There are the prefixes of the fi'l mudari'. Past tense verb has no standard prefix. Fa'ala, jama'a, ja'a, halara, shariba. There's no set of letters that a past tense verb starts with. But the present tense verb adds one letter onto the madi, and it's one of those four letters. Ana ajlisu, anta tajlisu, nahnu najlisu, huwa yajlisu. Ya, anaytu. مجموع في قولك أنيت. Anaytu is a, nun, ya, ta. Hamza, ana. Nun, nahnu. Ya, huwa, and ta, anta. So you say, ana ajlisu. Nun, anaytu. Nahnu, najlisu. Ya, huwa, yajlisu. Ta, anta, tajlisu. These are the 4 letters of mudari'. Every fi'l mudari' must start with one of those 4 letters, or it cannot be a fi'l mudari'. Right? Anaytu. Say the word anaytu. Yeah. Hamza, nun, ya, ta. Anaytu. Remember that word? Those are all 4 letters in one word. Anaytu. حروف المضارع. حروف المضارع. لا أعبد ما تعبدون. لا أعبد ما تعبدون. أعبد is a fi'l مضارع. But تعبدون is also a fi'l مضارع. لكن اتصل بآخره شيء. It's got an una at the end. We don't want to look at that one right now. We want to focus on أعبد. Not أعبد. Not أعبد with a sukoon, but rather أعبد. What's the i'rab of أعبد? It's a fi'l مضارع مرفوع علامة رفعه الضمة. أيوة. لا أعبد ما تعبدون. What about قل أعوذ برب الناس or برب الفلق. أعوذ. أعوذ. Present tense verb. Where's the harf mudari' that it begins with? أنا أعوذ. The other one was أنا أعبد. Yeah, أعبد with a hamza. أنا أعبد. أنا أعوذ. أعوذ. Notice it's not أعوذ. It's not أعوذي. There is no such thing ever. And it's not أعوذ. It's أعوذ. قل أعوذ. The Dhammah there. أعرب أعوذ. أبا آسيا. فعل مضارع. Give me the case before you give me the علامة. مرفوع. Nice. علامة رفعه الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. Real quick. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين. Give me the فعل مضارع that's مرفوع. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين. يكذب. يكذب. The ba has a ضمة on it. يكذب. أعربه. أبا عبد الفتاح. يكذب. فعل مضارع. مرفوع. نعم. علامة رفعه الضمة الظاهرة. Nice. Hanif, is there another فعل مضارع in that verse? أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين. أرأيت is a verb and it starts with a hamza. No, that's رأيت with a hamza for istifham. Ignore that for now. الذي يدع اليتيم. يدع. All right, so we have on this verb فعل مضارع يدع. What's on that عين? الضمة. أعرب يدع.
فعل مضارع مرفوع علامة رفعه الضمة.
بالضبط. ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. We close with this one, Ibrahim, for you. ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. Give me the فعل مضارع out of that sentence. ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. ها؟ يحض. أعرب. فعل مضارع مرفوع علامة رفعه الضمة. أحسنتم وبارك الله فيكم وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد.